The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
You know, they say Kansas is flat, but I have to argue that to a degree. Kansas does have some banking, it does have some action, and it's got a lot of fun points all the way around this track that are going to bring out some great action here in Sim500 tonight. It's round number 12 of the season, and I tell you what, there's 36 rounds to get through, but being on round number 12 is just enough for me. I want to welcome everybody in here for Sim500, the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series here. Kansas Speedway, race number 12 going through, and this is going to be a fun one here tonight. 130 laps of action coming at you from the flat plains going through. It's going to be myself, Brad Dalton, here in the booth, and then, of course, I am going to be joined by Kevin England, as always, the Sim500 aficionado of the booth here tonight. He knows a lot more about this league than I do, though I think I'm starting to learn. So he'll be able to give us the ins, the outs, the comers and the goers, and tell us how things go. And Kevin, good evening. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited. This is number one, my favorite track. This track right here tonight. These guys are racing it. I know some of the drivers complained about the setup here tonight, but I was talking to you before we came online. I don't know what kind of race we're going to see tonight. We could have a green to the finish, or we could have a pile up on the front stretch. It is that kind of unpredictability that's going to make it interesting to watch.
Well, I can tell you right now that I was told, originally, I was told to watch the right rears, and that was going to be the problem area of the day. And then magically, that changed. And then it became, hey, your problem area is actually going to be your right fronts. So that is what you need to watch. And that is where your problem's going to be. Now, if that's true, I don't know. But I'm just telling you what I was told by some drivers that I was just keeping tabs with, who tend to be my insiders for information every once in a while when I need them to be. So I think it's going to be a good run either way. And I think we're going to be in for lots of action coming through on the night. Of course, if this is your first time here, make sure you like and subscribe here, as we are on a mission to get to 1,700 subscribers. Just need a little bit of help to get there.
40 dump trucks, that's what we have on the racetrack. These drivers would describe the car as push, push, push. But that comes, Brad, with running hard. If you drive the car into the corner hard, put it into the progressive banking, you're going to wear that right front out. I think what you're going to see is drivers run down low in the beginning. A lot of grip down there, especially in turn 1 and 2. Drive off the bottom is really great. You can almost mat it wide open. But as the run goes on down there with less banking, you tend to lean on that right front tire, and we're going to see drivers go to the high side. I think we'll see drivers rim riding and banging off the walls here, and it's a fun track to race. But one thing to note: track position. Key number one, track position is really difficult to get a good pass here.
Yeah, I think this could be a race tonight where we see a new race winner. I think that's one of the things that I'm kind of looking forward to on the night, is we might see something a little bit different this time than what we normally see. And that's really always gets me excited. I love that thought of just someone new showing up, showing off, making a name for themselves. You know, it's been a Shieldhouse domination run so far this season, but we've seen drivers break through and have those moments of excellence. The question is, who can take it the rest of the way?
Yeah, hard to say if somebody's going to break out. We saw a breakout winner last week. Mark Jorgensen Jr. won his first Monday night race in style. I'll tell you, he got chased all the way to the finish line, but he had what it took. And this track, surprisingly, not much different from Texas. You really have to mind the car on the long run, make no mistakes, take care of it, race the racetrack. And if he did that well last week, no reason to believe he couldn't make it 2 in a row here tonight for Kansas Raceway.
There's really no reason he couldn't. It's just going to be the matter of drivers, keeping together. I think patience is going to be a key here, and race details on the night. 130 laps with 100% fuel, fixed setups, 3 sets of tires, no fast repairs. You run what you run, for the best way to phrase it. Keys to the race, this is what I have. I have watch the right rears. Really, that should say watch the right fronts, or just watch the right sides in general. Nailing that pit road entry if we get to green flag stops. I think that's going to be where things start getting real interesting, and drivers are going to have to be a little bit more careful on what they do. And then, of course, staying out of the wall. That turn 4 wall, I've been told, really likes to have friends and, hug some drivers and just catch them through while they go. So I think staying out of turn 4 wall, you do that just fine, and I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at a driver who's been making his name lately, it is Stephen Miles. He's been coming on quite well as of late. He has a bunch of top 5s with a first at Talladega and a second at Texas last week. And could it be another win for the number 24 here tonight, the Sim500 Camaro? This is the type of racetrack where you take care of yourself on good long runs. You're going to have the speed to compete. An interesting thing, Brad, is about strategy here tonight. I think from the pit standpoint, if the drivers mind their fuel tank, they can make it to halfway, pit one time, run the rest of the way. But the problem is tire wear, such a big factor that you might be better off ducking in, changing your tires, and run through. We'll have to see if alternate pit strategies play at the end of the night. Again, one of the things I really like about this track is you can attack it from so many different angles.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and don't think we're going to end up with a sort of just standard run here. Weather, of course, here at Kansas, currently 1:53 p.m. virtual standard time here on the Kansas Speedway, and 121-degree track temp. A little warm out there, but definitely something that can be handled. And of course, if you don't know anything about Kansas, well, let us introduce you really quick. 1.5 miles located in Kansas City, Kansas. It's a fun little oval here, 1.5 mile track, plenty of action to be found on the run. I think it's going to be overall just one of those nights where you sort of just enjoy the ride, enjoy what you see, and buckle it up and just be prepared for whatever might come your way, because there's a ton of options for what could happen, and at the end of the day, it's hard to plan for. You sort of just get what you get.
Yeah, I know that one of the trouble spots here is restarts. You got to gain it while you can, and you could be 2, 3, even 4 wide sometimes coming off of turn 2. And when the tires are cool, coming up off that corner is trickier than it looks. I think turn 2 will be the trouble zone. We get past those restarts and stretch it out a little bit, I think we'll be looking at long green flag runs.
I would agree with that. And as warm-up ends, this will get us in for this 130 laps around Kansas Speedway to bring you through round 12. We're at the 1/3 mark of the night, which is kind of weird to say. It's not typically you think about the fact that you're a third of the way through a season, but hey, we are a third of the way through the season. So let's go and run this BTR TV starting lineup here tonight here on May 12th around the Kansas Speedway. Who will be in this victory lane? It's going to be hard to say, but I tell you what, right now, it is Anthony Calatoni up front with Nelson Rivera, P1 and P2. From there, third place, Tyler Dalton and Jason Carlavage. David Comstock in 5th. Doy Woods in 6th. Doy was feeling pretty good there during practice today. Mark Jorgensen Jr. in 7th. Eric Arnold in 8th. Kevin DeBrown in P9. And Mike Montesi in a top 10. A lot of different names in the top 10 that we don't normally see. It's going to be a good race tonight to hear, Kevin.
For sure. The 9 and the 8 make up row number 6. 11th for Bobby Wetzel. The 8 of Sean Macklin's starting one off in the 14th starting spot. 15th and 16th is Joe Hudson in the 49, and Cody Harris looking for something good to happen here tonight in the 95. Bentley Glazier in the 36 starts 17th. To his outside, it's Joey Jatina in the 14. Justin Fuller in the 51 starts 19th. Outside row 10, it'll be Glenn Campbell back tonight in the number 44. Jose Gonzalez, he runs the 26. He'll be starting from the 21st starting spot. 22nd is the 6 of Thomas George. Lane Phillips new to the series. First race, the number 12 will start 23rd. 24th will be Kevin Stone. Chad Coleman, Robert Friery in the 38 and the 2 make up row number 13th. 27th starting spot for Alan Wild in the 07. EJ O'Rourke to his outside. It'll be Ron Hollifield, Doug Roth, Stephen Miles, Jason Pick, DeAndre Kane starting 33rd. 34th, David Schildhouse, Brian Macklin, Patrick Colby. It'll be Josh Parker starting out back as usual in the 81, starting 37th. And rounding out the field, Stoney Benfield in the 75, Doug Sigmund in the 04, and Brian Wertman in the 74 starts in 40th. Green flag about to come out. It is 130 laps of action. We are underway here at Kansas Motor Speedway.
And underway we are very quickly to get this thing on the road, and it's going to be 2x2 up front to get this race started, which is probably going to be exactly what these drivers want to see as they get their way going. Try to play it nice and calm. And up front, Calantoni holding on. And, we're already wrecking that is Tyler Dalton.
No.
Not doing my last name very well. And that'll be caution number 1. They're wrecking hard in the back of the field.
Yeah, Friery is around doing a pirouette. The 17 of Stone is in the outside wall out on the backstretch. One car through the grass down there in turns 3 and 4 is Calamity Corner. Turn 2 bites everybody in the second half of the field here as we're under caution for the first time here tonight on lap 1.
And we'll go back and get a replay of exactly how that one started here. And, well, this was right off the bat that we see this thing get going and just kick off really quick. So this is back near the back of the field. This is with Stoney Benefield. It looks like he had a moment early on. And, well, everything then kicked off ahead there with other cars. And see where he got involved as he came through. He's breaking it down. He's breaking it down. He's breaking it down. He's breaking it down. And, well, actually seems like he did pretty well okay getting through that one. So I think really right here with Lane Phillips might be where we want to look coming through. Actually, let's look at Nelson Rivera. So Nelson Rivera got loose right off the bat. Tyler Dalton catches him there. And then, well, it was all game over from there for them.
Yeah, Nelson picked up the throttle and the car just did not connect coming out. Got a little tap from Tyler Dalton, and then it was, as you said, on from there. What's interesting is they slid off down the bottom of the racetrack, and there was actually a second incident involving Robert Friery, the third, as they were 2 and 3 wide coming off. Maybe the 25 of Ron Hollifield checked up and got tagged, and that started the second part of this incident.
Yeah, we'll go back and find that second part really quick as well, and then we'll jump back because it looks like a lot of drivers already in the pits. And remember, this is a run what you brung setup. This is not a case of you're going to get a fast repair. You don't keep a backup car in. You just kind of have what you have, and not a lot you can say. That number 2 of Robert Friery got hit really hard as well as he was coming through. So lots of drivers taking lots of incidents early on is, well, that's one heck of a scenic cam to kick things in.
How about that?
Yeah, so we'll get things back underway here, but very early on, lots of problems very quickly for several drivers.
Yeah, David Schildhouse was right in the middle of that. He was able to drive through with a couple scrapes and bumps, but he managed through. The car I saw with a lot of damage was who I just talked about. Unfortunately, Stephen Miles, the back of that car, is really pretty significantly hit. I'm not sure, actually. He just got nicked a little bit, but it got him just right on that quarter panel, and yeah, his car took a pretty hard hit to the front and the back.
Yeah, and we'll see here as he comes out, Stephen Miles. It looks like they've knocked a little bit of the damage out, but you can still see a good chunk there on that right rear corner as they come through and around. And, well, we're 1 to green now is the signal, so we'll take that false start as a start, and technically this will be a restart, even though some of these guys are going to be feeling like they didn't actually get anything going underway here. So, and your top 5 will be as they were, not actually as they were. Calantoni up in first. Comstock was able to move it up to second. Jorgensen up into third. Karlovage into fourth. And Doy Woods up into fifth. So this will give them a second run to rack 'em, stack 'em, send it through again, and maybe see what they learned off of half a lap at driving.
Yeah, not the way they wanted to get the night started, but I'm sure that everybody's now pulled their straps tight, getting ready for the second restart. Pace car just about to turn left, turn the field over to Calantoni. He's got Comstock to the outside. They'll charge down to turn 1. Comstock would love to get out in clean air and lead this thing from the get-go. Got to be careful you don't spin the tires here as you come up through the gears or miss a gear. Calantoni with a good restart. He's going to get out ahead of and be single file to Comstock as they head to turn 2.
Yeah, and Calantoni will take advantage very quickly. Look at this. Kevin DeBrown dropping 3 wide out of turn 2, and they're going to race it hard off of 2. They go back into double file there as Kevin DeBrown in that number 93 is racing Karlovage in the 60. The 60 up high there was the one that took it through the middle. They're going to try to make it 3 wide behind him, but he's going to go side by side through. But up front, Calantoni will hold the lead for the moment. And Kevin DeBrown dropping all the way to the apron there through the lazy left.
Yeah, high side and low side seem to be preferred. Nobody really likes the middle at this racetrack. A car just does not turn when you try and drive through the middle. See a look for Cody Harris back there in 10th. He's down underneath the 8 car of Sean Macklin in tonight for... typically that car piloted by Randy Yoakum, so we got Sean Macklin in as a substitute driver as it continues to be Anthony Calantoni holding sway over this field. Right now, early going, bottom line seems to be the place to be as the cars on the top look like they're struggling a little bit in lap number 7.
Yeah, and as they're struggling this early on, not what I'm expecting, but kind of what we're seeing here. We're starting to get more 3 wide racing coming through. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'd be going 3 wide this early on in a shiny chrome car, but if you're the number 4, Mike Montesi, you're certainly going to try to make a stick against that number 98 of Charles Woods, especially with Jose Gonzalez there on the high side, and Chad Coleman up there as well in that 38. Just see if you can't make something stick and go through. And David Schildhouse in a very unorthodox Schildhouse position back into first in that number 20. Schildhouse, of course, the driver that more than used to be in the front. So it's interesting to kind of see him battle through traffic, I'd say, and seeing how he up front. Second verse, same as the first. Calantoni leading another lap here. Lap 8 of 130 with Comstock, Karlovage, Jorgensen, 2, 3, and 4 chasing right behind. I have a feeling a lot of these guys are really just trying to save tires and make this thing last to the end if they can. If they can run half race distance here, Kevin, and go through tires, they're going to want to do that.
Yeah, I think right now everybody knows that we got a couple laps under our belts. Maybe you need to make sure you take care of tires because tire fall off is pretty major here. And you don't want to burn your stuff up early. You really just kind of want to be gentle. You don't want to give up any positions, but you also need to make sure you pick and choose your battles. Running side by side here can wear your stuff out. So if you can't seem to shake the driver, sometimes the better part of value is to tuck in behind them. But so tempting when you get the draft going down the back straightaway and you want to do something with it. Like, for example, Justin Fuller. Right now, he used every inch of the racetrack out of turn number 4 to move up to the 8th position. The 51, Get a Unit Toyota, is on the move here in the early going.
Yeah, he is, and I think I talk about this every week that Justin Fuller will admit as we have caution on the speedway. Looks like that is going to be, let's see how that one started.
Maybe the 43 of Roth. There's a parking lot down here in the first turn. There's a bunch of cars piled into the safer barrier.
There they are. Let's see if we can get an idea of what started that one. I see Kevin Stone might have been in the mix of that one. So here is your PTR TV replay on the night. And what caused that one? Oh, that's a hard hit in the wall from Glenn Campbell that started that parking lot. And I mean, it was just a junkyard behind him there.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe he got a little loose at it was at the start-finish line. The car just darted to the right there. I'm not sure his shield house was right in the middle of that, too, for the 20. That was really strange, the way the car took off on the... it almost looked like maybe he got nicked, but there wasn't any cars near him. Yeah, I'm just not sure what started all that.
I'll tell you one more person who had a bad time was Kevin Stone. Kevin Stone has received the meatball flat, which is not ideal in any way, shape, or I mean, just look at that parking lot there going through. Not at all what you want in, was it Justin Fuller we were just talking about a minute ago being in a good position? Because I think Justin Fuller might have a bone to pick with us at this point. Pit lane is busy, though. Everybody into the pit lane at this time.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see if anybody takes 4 tires and fuel this early in, especially with the first caution that we had. But if you anticipate that you're going to have a long green flag run, similar to what we saw in the previous race, maybe this is the right time to bolt them on, and you could use that to your advantage to drive through. As that was a really big crash. It collected almost half the field going. It feels like I'm still taking notes as to the number of cars that were involved in that over there.
It'd almost be easier for you to list the number of cars that weren't in that than the number of cars that were in that, if we're going to be honest. That's just kind of where it feels like we're at. But, you know, it's kind of... Kansas is one of those tracks that can produce some heartbreak out of nowhere when you least expect it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is everybody was on the gas diving down into turn number 1. You're doing somewhere around 160 miles an hour, and all of a sudden the entire track is blocked from the safer barrier down to the white line and beyond. And unfortunately, just if you slam on the brakes, you won't stop. You'll slide into the event, and it really looked like one of those ice events on a highway where the cars just kept coming and sliding in, and unfortunately, it gathered a lot of cars over there.
Yeah, it did, but I think it will hopefully be okay for everyone as they go through here. 1 lap to green as they come down the backstretch here on the night for the Cook's Landscaping Group. Cook's Landscape Group. I keep saying Landscaping Group. It's just Landscape Group. And some respect on the name for Cook's Landscape Group here in the Sim500 Cup Series. Coming around Kansas Speedway, and we'll see how they do on the night. Lap 14, we're already on caution number 2. No stage breaks to be found here tonight, in contrast of other Cup Series that you may or may not watch or enjoy. But this will be fine nonetheless. Calantoni, Karlovage, Comstock, Jorgensen, top 4 on the track with Wesley Donaldson there in 5th and Doy Woods in 6th. Justin Fuller floating around P7, P8. Green flag in the air here for lap 14 of 130, make it 15 actually. And Calantoni with a great run there off the race start.
Carving that white line, the Talking Giants Chevrolet out to the back straightaway with a commanding lead. He got a good run up in front of Jason Karlovage, who's getting a little tap from behind from Mark Jorgensen Jr. This time your leader and crew will go to the high side over in turn 3 and 4. You got the 13 carving the bottom. Looks like he's trying to get third, but you get such a good run off the high side, Brad, that typically if you're even with somebody coming off the corner, the high side will prevail.
Yeah, and that's really going to be the key, is just prevailing in that long run. I think really the thing that's got me interested is the fact that the top 18 have yet to pit here, and they're still running a pretty considerable position run and finding time and gaining time and keeping things moving compared to the rest of the field. But top 18 also really haven't had any damage, and if they have, they're somehow driving the wheels off the thing still. And that is the big key here, as Jorgensen and Karlovage will go side by side for second place. Highline there will be Mark Jorgensen, Karlovage on the low side, and the 91 of Wesley Donaldson sitting in fourth coming around, and it looks like they are able to keep it together for now, and it will be Jorgensen just trying to keep touch with Calantoni as they go through. And again, this is just a war of attrition on the night and keeping things through, as Justin Fuller is getting busy there for P7.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact just about every lap going through the corners here. Last time, the 31 of Eric Arnold got tagged underneath by Chad Coleman. Coleman jammed on the brakes to keep off of him, bounced off the apron, and was able to gather it up and drive away, as that opened the door for David Schildhouse to come around and get a good run. And Schildhouse now finds himself up in the mix. It doesn't look like that car is any worse the wear from damage, as he rolls across the line in lucky 13th over on the high side, trying to follow through and find a hole to get up there to the top 10.
Top 10 would be a great result there as they come through. Again, that top 18 just sort of running away with it here, keeping a couple guys here in tow, but not too crazy as we come through. Kevin DeBrown trying to get a run here, coming around with Schildhouse there on the high line, and ahead of them is Jose Gonzalez. Schildhouse up 21 places on the night. He told me earlier patience was going to be the key, and he's doing a good job of doing just that. As Justin Fuller and Cody Harris go side by side. Cody Harris, of course, a two-time race winner here this season, so going side by side and around, and it will be Fuller tucking back in behind Harris to try to go down low around 3 and 4 if it's possible.
Yeah, that incident on lap 13 took its toll, as we have a number of cars that were damaged. Josh Parker one lap down by Bertman, Lane Phillips, Nelson Rivera after starting out front tonight. Alan Weil, Ron Hollifield, Doug Roth. All of these cars, one or multiple laps down. Brian Macklin, Robert Friery out 19 laps, so I think they're pretty much scratch on the night. And that took out a pretty big chunk of the field, and I'm guessing some of these drivers would love to see another early caution so they can get in and correct some of the damage they have on their car. The car doesn't go very well, Brad, if it has front end damage, particularly this mentioned.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me because these cars are so sensitive as it is. They don't have a good time at all when anything is wrong with the bodywork, when anything is wrong with them in general. So when you see cars that are heavily damaged, you know, trying to go out there, they don't have pace, they don't have grip, they don't have anything really to give at that point. It sort of just becomes a game of who can hold on to it and really keep it together, and that sometimes is easier said than done. Tyler Dalton here playing the safe move. You can see that heavy right front damage on that car. He was involved in our early incidents, and he is just trying to stay out of the way of the pack as he goes around, drops low, and does just what he needs to do to try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, the whole season's been up and down. He certainly had the speed. He finished 5th last week at Texas, but 30th at Talladega, 11th at Darlington, 16th at Martinsville, 22nd in Atlanta. So it's feast or famine for that 19, and unfortunately trouble found him early here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, really, whenever you're in that situation, trouble finds you so quick, there's absolutely no way to save it. Look at Cody Ayers and Justin Fuller here. Cody getting all over the rear bumper of Justin, giving him some pressure, pushing a little bit, and trying to just keep things moving and grooving behind them. Schildhouse and Macklin is going side by side, and you can see Schildhouse really trying to just keep that side-by-side pressure on Sean Macklin, trying to just sort of say, hey, I'm here, you know, I'm going to leave you room, but I'm not going to leave you near as much room as you'd like me to leave you, but I'll leave you something here. Goes low through 1 and 2, exits out, and Schildhouse not in that sea of cars. May slot back in, and he does, and then we'll try.
talked about right front tire wear. A lot of drivers know that right fronts don't hold up really well when you're down digging on the bottom. So we see these drivers have already, here on lap 25, moved to the high side. The 8 of Macklin got into the wall over there in turn 3, scrubbed it a little bit. Schildhouse pulled it left, went down and around him, as did the 91, or the 38, sorry, of Chad Coleman. He comes into the 9th position as, yeah, we have a lead change here as the 88 has just scooted around Anthony Calantoni, and last week's winner, Mark Jorgensen Jr., comes to the point.
Jorgensen getting up into the lead here, pulling out a quarter of a second gap very quickly, but now the 91 of Wesley Donaldson would like something to say about that. Is going to try to bring it through here, go down the low side. The 51 of Justin Fuller would really like something to say. We're going to take it 3 wide here. Going down the back stretch on the high side, there's the 60 of Carlavage, and Jason Carlavage will hold on to it. Justin Fuller, though, is really liking the look of that low hide. Yeah, the low side, there we go, and is having a good time going through the 84 Calantoni, just trying to hold on. I think maybe just not enough tires. Cody Harris is going to take us 3 wide through 1 and 2. 91, 60, 95. How's that going to end up? Oh, barely clear is the 60 as he slides back up there.
Yeah, see what Fuller's doing is just trying to go where they ain't. He's been running in high, and when he wants to try and make the opportunity for a pass, sometimes he's driving down the banking, angling it left from center off, and using a straight run to elongate the straightaway and carry the speed. That time he went down low and just slipped in and slide jobbed Anthony Calantoni. The 51 is now in second.
And that 51 is looking feisty here on the night, so keep your eyes up front as they come through. Keep your eyes on that next pack behind them after the top 4, because that's been a battle as well. All the way down through 12th is looking pretty quick here as Schildhouse is going to take it 3 wide now with the 38 of Coleman down low and the number 60 of Carlavage up high, and thinks better of it, backs out of it. But they are going to continue the battle nonetheless, side by side. Carlavage, Coleman. How's this one going to end? Is there 3 wide in front of them? Donaldson, Calantoni, and Cody Harris are going to be 3 wide. They'll settle that one out, and that's a little bit of a wall tap there for that 91 of Wesley Donaldson.
Yeah, Calantoni has not had long run speed all season long, and he's starting to slip back a little bit. He led up until lap 27, but right now he can just kind of tuck right in. Wow, what a swing the 95 of Harris had off of turn 4, and he lost a little momentum as that allowed Comstock to get by. Here comes Schildhouse and Coleman into the battle to see if they can get around the slip-sliding number 95 of Cody Harris. 38 is through, and so is the 20 on the backstretch. Harris inserts himself into the slot right there in front of the 60. Carlavage may have had to tap the brake or lift to let him in, as yeah, some of these drivers are coming forward pretty well. Look at the 38. He's making some good moves as Chad Coleman has come up to 6th place.
Yeah, I think at this point, really what's happened is several drivers have just managed to play the game and save the tires enough on the early run to keep going here for the long go. Of course, we're only 32 laps in of this 130-lap race, so 97 laps, if I'm doing the math right. And you can see here on the tire graphic, here on the timing tower, top 13 all on 32-lap tires with Stephen Miles down in 14th. First car that has pit at some point in this event. So he'll be off strategy as it goes. Now let's look at lap times comparative as they go through. And that'll be, I think, really gives us an idea of where the time difference is between them all. As they go, Stephen Miles' last lap was a 33.0, whereas the leaders, I mean, they're running 32.9s, 32.8s. So we're not seeing too much of a difference there for the lap times as they go. So even then with that, not that big of a deal for them.
Sometimes tire saving mode is just a matter of not squeezing the throttle as you come up out to the corner. Even though the car would stick and take it, you end up burning the tire off just a little bit. If you could wait till you're to the straightaway and then squeeze the throttle down, you might save a little bit of tire. In the beginning, they'll drive away from you, but over the long run, you'll start to carve through the field. And seeing some of those drivers who done a little tire savings, just like you said, Brad, make their way through. Is Chad Coleman. He was in 15th in the restart. He's made his way up to 6th, still running right there behind and challenging for David Schildhouse.
Yeah, and he's going to look low for Schildhouse while he can. Back in the background, you see a little bit of wall tap happening here and there. Just a little bit of wall tap. Not a big wall tap, just a little wall tap. But sometimes that little wall tap is all you really need to cause a big old problem for everyone. So that is what we'll watch and see how they go. And they're doing a good job all the way through keeping this going and moving and improving. And as they go. How many times could I say keeping it going in one sentence? Well, I don't have an answer, so I'll just keep it going for a second. All right, I think I'm done with that one, honestly, as we go through. Up front, let's check in with our race leader currently, Mark Jorgensen, who has that half-second gap on Justin Fuller and is trying to just keep this thing going nice and comfortable if he can.
Yeah, let's take a lap with Mark Jorgensen Jr. He is staying in 5th gear. You have the option to shift here. A lot of drivers will downshift into turn 1 to go to 4th and then put it back in 5th at the back straightaway. He arcs it in right down following the seam, lets the car roll along top, turns it down just a little bit so he has the drift up off to the light, comes down to the straightaway. He's not using the apron, but he's right at the start finish line, white line. Come up to this black mark, and that's usually your sign to lift, the black mark on the outside wall. And right now he's just following the seam in the middle of the turn. He's turning it down a little bit, and that'll leaves you just a little bit of drift as the car wants to slide up on exit when the banking falls away. And right now he's taking full advantage of the progressive banking. He's pretty much up in the zone where he's using the 20 degrees versus the 17 degrees down on the bottom. I was watching right behind him, the 51. His car looks again unsettled. Just something about the way the car is coming up off the corner. It's slipping a little out of turn 2, for example, but Justin Fuller continues to make speed in the draft of your leader as the front 5 running nose to tail, kind of a couple car lengths apart. And I think, Brad, one of the things strategically, you don't want to be on the bumper of the car in front of you. The dirty air does not let the car turn. If you just lay back a little bit and run in your laps, you can extend your tire wear and keep your track position.
Yeah, especially at this point in the race. I mean, we're only on lap 40 of 130, so there's plenty of time to be found through this run. So you don't need to do anything too drastic yet. You can afford to really just let this race play itself out, let things run through, and just kind of see where things lie, if they will, as we go through, and more lap traffic starting to play a factor in this race as they come around, and they all do a good job of clearing. David Schildhouse will go low there and actually split the gap, go 3 wide, but gets the pass done on that 91 of Wesley Donaldson. He was able to move himself up into 4th place. Further back here, Doy Woods and Sean Macklin, the 92 and the 8, battling it off of the corner. And it looks like that it's going to be Sean Macklin getting ahead of Doy Woods there, going through. And that 31 of Eric Arnold wants to play battle as well. Let's just play ball and take it 3 wide, guys. Just enough room.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Come through. Thank you.
Excuse me. No. No, you please. No.
Oh, man. Is Jose Gonzalez going to take this 4 wide? If you're Jose Gonzalez, what are you doing my answer is please don't take this 4 wide. I know Kansas can do a lot, but I don't think 4 wide is the one.
Of course, he goes to the low side.
92 gets his way through. Doy Woods does, and now it's Arnold and Macklin in the battle. And this is the battle back for like P9. By the way, this is not for the lead. This is for like P9, P10 that this battle is going on. They're pushing things hard. And then behind them, of course, Calantoni and Karlovage and that 36, actually, Bentley Glacier. These two are battling it out really hard as well.
Yeah, Yeah, this battle for ninth has not stopped as Doy Woods goes around the lap car, but they are now running physically on top of each other, nose to tail. And when you have that draft, you get around somebody, and then all of a sudden they suck up to you. We see side drafting going on. That is an option at this racetrack to try and slow the car next to you. You pull down tight on them on the corner to squeeze them so that they can use the racetrack to come up off the corner. There's a lot of different tactics that go on through the middle of the field, and we see a lot of it in use right now. As I'll tell you, what a nice job Doy Woods did driving through that stack to get himself through, but he is not clear yet as he's been hounded by Eric Arnold.
Keeping the hounding going here, Sean Macklin and Jason Carlavage continuing to fight and push and apply pressure to each other as they go through the field to 60 there. Still trying to look low on the 8, not able to make a pass yet. Back up front, battle for P3 is shaping up nice and tidy as it goes through the night. And this is Schildhaus still trying to work his way up on Justin Fuller. Schildhaus a little bit just, I would say, more consistent currently than Fuller as it goes in terms of lap times, but I don't necessarily think that means faster. I think some of that too is lap traffic coming into play as we are approaching lap 50 of this race. So green flag pit stops also going to start being in the minds of these drivers as they go through. Remember, the top 18 all still needed to pit with the run that they could have, so they'll have to pit somewhere at some point. $1 million question is when.
Well, ideally you want to get to halfway, so we'll see whether or not they're going to make it that far. Lap 64, 65 is when you would duck off if you can save that much fuel. Saw a moment for your leader off of turn 2 just a little bit ago. He was absolutely sideways, tried to catch the car, had to drive all the way down to the white line. That brought David Comstock to his back bumper. Now we have a challenge for the lead as Comstock down low out of turn 2. He slides it up off the corner and is going to give a little bit of space to Jorgensen, who's out front. As I'll tell you, this battle for the lead is not over yet.
Not at all. And while they have that going on, they have to watch behind them because that yellow splash and go, yellow submarine has managed to find its way up into third. So now the more these two battle it out, the 13 and the 88 on your screen, the more they just invite Schildhaus to come through. And the $1 million question, who can beat Schildhaus this week? I said I was thinking a new winner was going to be coming. I hate to say it, but these guys are starting to make me wonder if Schildhaus isn't going to just run away with them for some reason.
Yeah, the one thing I see out of the splash and go graphics number 20 is he is solid as could be. Car is not slip sliding. He's not challenging it. He's using the draft to his advantage. He's using every inch of the racetrack right up high against the fence, clean on exit, and he is making speed on entry of the corner. Just physically, you could see him draw a half a car length closer. It seems like he's able to drive it in farther and yet keep the car under control running that high line.
Yeah, and it's real interesting how he's doing it. He's doing a good job of it, I'd say. And it's really starting to pay off in the long term. I'd be curious to know how that tire conservation is going for him. Here we go. Let's open this battle up. 13 of Comstock has to drop low, wiggle off a 2, and Schildhaus is going to say, thank you very much. That's the easiest P2 that I'll ever get in my career. And is now going to hold it up high here. Can he clear P2, though? And he's going to actually lose the run off of 4, and 13's going to drop all the way down to the grass, try to defend it. And now as we come around, we'll come back up, and can he hold on to it? Can he defend a little bit more? Well, he's certainly going to try it here as they come around the line, come through 1 and 2, and the 13 there low, the 20 up high, and still running it side by side.
Yeah, if I'm the 13, I've angered that right rear tire, put a little heat in it from that slide. He should have come up off that corner and put a little side draft on the 20 to pull him back a little bit. Wasn't able to execute that move, but still right there being a pest. He got to the back bumper cover, and now he's going to look to the high side. If he can get to the right side, to the right rear quarter panel, he might be able to pull the 20 back. And I have to wonder if the 20, when he gets in the wake of these cars, loosens the car up in front of him, as everybody sure looks like their hands full off of turn number 2. As the car stepping out, they got to go right to turn left to turn right. What is the phrase there from cars?
Yeah, turn right to go left. You find yourself turning hard enough right, you'll find yourself going left.
There you go.
Doc Hudson.
I think the driver who settled down is the 51, the 2 WBD diecast cars. Donaldson running 5th, and Justin Fuller running 4th. As we have a battle for the lead here. They've kind of just settled down in road. I don't see them challenging right now, as Schildhouse has gotten underneath the 88. Will we see a crossover at turn number 4?
Certainly going to try it.
Not able to do it in Schildhouse. Comes to position 1 from the 33rd starting spot on lap number 54.
Ridiculous run there. Now he's got to maintain it. That's the harder part, I'd say, as we go through. We're not too far from green flag pit stops, and that's a little bit of a nose from Jorgensen, I'd say, on to Schildhouse. That's going to give him a little bit of an oopsie daisies, and now Comstock will drop it down low, and the 13 going to be trying to battle, wants to get the lead. Can he get a 2-for-1 special? It's not a 4-for-4, but we'll take a 2-for-1 here as he runs low side by side with the 88. Not able to get it. A little bit of a tap there from those two. And I think the cars are starting to get away from these guys here as we are approaching half race distance in 10 laps time.
On Schildhouse, I love what I'm seeing out the rearview mirror. Those two battle side by side. He's able to drive away. He's out by 3 car lengths right now. If these two continue to battle for second and third, they're going to draw Justin Fuller into the event. Fuller is only about 4 car lengths behind in the closing out of turn number 4.
Yeah, and as Fuller closes in and he starts battling, then you got Stephen Miles.
He's going to go 3 wide.
Man.
Fuller not only got to him, he used the run to get there and go around them pretty much.
13 opens it up, gets away a little bit from that one, and now you're going to have...
If the center opens, he's going in.
Tell you what, these guys are getting real feisty here, considering their tires are absolutely gone at this point. G-U-N gone. They are absolutely fighting it hard going through that 51, that 88, battling it out real hard coming through. The 51 will get the run up into 3rd place. Now Comstock up in 2nd is the next target. As, look at this, the 24, Stephen Miles is going to take it low here and try to get around Justin Fuller. Will try to go, slide up high, all tight, and everybody with a little bit of a wiggle.
Can we say where did he come from? Stephen Miles to 5th after the incident earlier, and the car that looks like the rocket is Doy Woods. He just drove by, and he's challenging for 3rd. These are drivers that probably just kind of sat back, saved their tires, and here at the end of the long run, we talked about how you could really make advances. And look at Doy Woods down there on the bottom, carving that white line.
Yeah, saving the tires I knew was going to be a fun game, and whoever it was that could do that was going to be in a great position. Cody Harris in the background getting a little bit wiggly as we watch this battle up front continue and move through, because these guys are not calming down in the slightest and the earliest. They're going to take it 3 wide here between the 51, the 88, and the 24. How does that one play out? Well, they go side by side, and it is Fuller and Jorgensen that are going to hold it side by side. Stephen Miles not that far behind.
Tell you, there's always 2 drivers I've always considered great long-run drivers. One of them is past champion Pedro Mojica, and the other one is the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. And don't look now, Jose is lurking back there in 7th. He's just been quiet all night, but the Goya number 26, as he bangs side off of the 95 of Cody Harris, he's back in 7th, and he's got good long-run speed here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me to see the difference in the drivers between short-term pace, long-term pace, medium-term pace, kind of who has what runs really sort of settled in for their day. As the 95 gets a wiggle there from the 26.
He's sideways. I don't know that he's going to save it.
Nope, he is gone, but he's all the way off the banking. Can he hold on to it? Can he hold on to it? He's off the racing surface. He holds on to it, so no caution will be... No!
I think with his car nosed up to the white line, unfortunately, the car going past him registered the caution. He did everything he could to try and keep it down there and get it turned around. And unfortunately, it was just enough to get that caution. And we thought we were going to see green flag pit stops, but Cody Harris changes the entire complexion of the race with his spin.
Right there was just enough for the caution to be thrown. So, and we were starting to see those green flag pit stops because here was Sean Macklin coming out of pit lane right as the caution was thrown. So that is going to hurt several drivers as they go through and make, whatever decisions they need to make in order to survive this race. It'll shake things up here on the run, and plenty of drivers into the pits, starting with Schildhouse in for the front of the pack. But man, more drivers in than out, I'd say, as everyone's through. I don't even know how to say how many drivers are in. Comstock, Woods, Jorgensen, Arnold, Donaldson, Glazer, Fuller, Montesi, Gonzalez. I mean, basically everyone's in the pits. That's the simplest way to explain that one.
I am kind of surprised that Macklin pitted. Did he pit for tires in that caution second? Let's see. No, unfortunately, yeah, he did. So he took 4 tires and fuel, and now he's on pit road one more time. I would have thought with fresh tires, being 1 lap down, he would have taken the wave around and come around to the back of the field. He still has 100% goodness on his tires, but he opted to go to pit road, and that means he's going to remain 1 lap down.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. I don't know what the decision would be on that one, but hey, you know what? Maybe there was some damage on the car that he wanted to get taken care of that we're not aware of. Anything is possible as they go through, as the drivers come around, and it will be Schildhouse on the run off pit road with Fuller in second, Doy Woods in third, Comstock in fourth, and Chad Coleman into fifth place. Everybody taking 4 tires, everybody taking fuel. If you're Cody Harris, repairing a lot of damage on that car, and several drivers staying in for an extended period of time to repair damages. We're already 1 lap to green. Cautions go real quick here around Kansas.
They do go very quickly here. I thought for a moment it showed Schildhouse or Comstock as the leader. I go check that out and see if something changed.
I think it did for like a split second as they were going through.
When the 20 pulled off, the 13 went across the line, and he was scored the leader of lap 62. But when they came back out after pitting, because he was further down, he went across the line on pit road and scored the leader of that lap.
Well,
and then Schildhouse got around him after the surface, and now David Schildhouse is your leader for the restart.
I mean, it's always nice to get scored the leader for a lap, even if it's, just that brief section. Saying you led a lap is always fun here as they come through. Watch Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller is going to be quick on this restart, so I think he's going to be one to watch as he comes through here. Lap 63 of 130 should, in theory, be able to make it to the end now, and Justin Fuller will get the run here on second place, and then Doy Woods in third, Comstock in fourth, but Schildhouse leads up front for this restart.
I think when we're going back to green here on lap 64, that these drivers are still going to have to figure out some sort of fuel management. If you run wide open to the finish, you're going to run out with 1 or 2 to go. We'll see if that's going to play a factor as Schildhouse leads out of turn 2 with the 51 giving chase. They've singled filed for third and fourth. Doy Woods in third. Fourth is Comstock, as a lot of drivers took the opportunity to fix the damage here, Brad, during that caution. They've been waiting for that chance, and maybe you will see some different players in front.
Yeah, back in the background there, somebody tapping the wall hard in the background. I believe that was EJ O'Leak, actually, in 41, tapping the wall, but he's able to keep the car going, moving and grooving nice and clean as they go through. Schildhouse still trying to put pressure on Fuller, who's got pressure from Doy Woods in the 92. Not a driver I thought we'd see up front pushing through, but in a good position after the cautions with Comstock in fourth and Gonzalez there in fifth. Everybody settling in here, I think, again, because as you said, it's tire management It's fuel saving. It's a long run to the end, but gotta do what you gotta do to make this race count as we go through. That 36 and the 88 going side by side with the 91 and the 93, the WBD bike. Wow, I can't talk. The die-cast cars, 91 and 93 going side by side.
I think this is where some of these drivers have put on their thinking cap. They'll let them charge out and they will take care of their stuff. We'll see you later. Alligator is, I think, like you look at the 88 of Jorgensen Jr., we know he's had speed. He's been leading quite a bit here tonight, led 27 laps so far, and he's just kind of dropped back quietly to 7th. One of the cars to keep an eye on, we've not talked about him tonight, 2 cars actually. Kevin DeBrown running in 8th in the number 93, and right in front of him, Bentley Glazier has made his way into the top 10 for the first time tonight. I think both of these drivers are ones that could sneak in and get a win.
Yeah, I think anybody in this top 10, top 15 right now is in the possibility for a win as we go through. Doy Woods has snuck into second. Now he's going to sneak for the lead. He goes low. He's going to push Schildhaus up, and then he's going to drop himself back down and hold on there. Schildhaus will be scored, the leader for this lap, just ahead by a half a car length, but will continue to feel the pressure there down low. And again, what's the option? Are you driving the wheels off this thing, or are you going to calm it down a little bit? And I think in this situation, run the happy medium. Run the happy medium that you can find there and do what you can, as we see Schildhaus drop low this time with Doy Woods going high. And they'll just kind of mix this up here for the minute, go back and forth a little bit, see what they can find as Justin Fuller, Bentley Glaser battling it out there for 4th with Kevin DeBrown and Jose Gonzalez right in tow. New leader now, Doy Woods.
How about that? I saw David Schildhaus run in the middle. That is usually a no-go zone here. The car just does not turn off the middle of the corner. You can run in high and turn down through the center, and Schildhaus now stays up high, and he's going to challenge for that lead, see if he can come back through and pick it up as they go across the stripe. But it's going to be the 20 scored that lap over the 92. And I tell you, the race, out behind them, Sean Macklin in the 8. He's running 22nd, and he's right there with all these top drivers. You say, why would he do that? Because he's got Jason Karlovaj, who's the next car competing for the Lucky Dog. The two of them are carving through the field here. Karlovaj going to make it 3 wide out of turn number 4. He wants to be the first car 1 lap down should the yellow wave.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do here, but I think the big thing to remember for them is the fact that, well, if you put yourself in a position and something happens to any of these leaders, you are going to be public enemy number 1 come next week, come next round. And of course, we know race car drivers have memories like elephants, so whenever you run through and you keep things going, it's not going to be pretty, and nobody's going to be real happy about it.
I mean, just the way they're carving back and forth, nobody giving an inch yet. There is no caution. They are on the low line, on the high line, beating and banging off the wall, sideways up off the corner. We're only on lap 72. We're going to 130, and what a race we've seen so far. That's the beauty of this racetrack. Why I love this track, because you just have no idea how it's going to play out as Doy Woods, he just continues to come off the corner, put his left front in the air, and I think he's not done yet. I know he wants to lead this thing some more.
Yeah, he does, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see him get there as we go through, but that 36 of Bentley in the Mountain Dew car is also going to be put in a challenge. Look at that, running low, trying to come through into second, and does he get that clear? Well, he's going to drop back now into third, and always look at that car and think the window net's down on it, which, yes, is impossible in iRacing, but you see that little black line there at the bottom of that window net? It makes me think the window net's down, even though I know it's not. He'll try to get that Chevy underneath the Ford as he goes, and again, just good run into the corner, not able to clear him on corner exit. So for another lap, top 3 will hold how they were. Will it be different this time? As behind him, you can see the number 60 pushing his way through, trying to find a bit of a battle. That's, of course, Jason Karlovaj. As we said, a lap down. First car, a lap down, but a lap down nonetheless, but still trying to battle it out with the big dogs.
Oh, deep breath. Let's see. Let's see. I'm telling you, Doy Woods, he is not going to give up this battle, and I have to wonder if that has something to do with tire wear. We're going to see these two maybe be challenged later as he's trying to get the drive up off out of turn 2 on the bottom lane, but that high side gets such a good run from the momentum, and this is going to open the door for Bentley Glazier. You really have no choice to try and pass on the outside because you can't fit between the car in front of you and the outside fence, so it's so tempting to go down in the bottom. If I'm Doy Woods, I'm going to run in the tire tracks into turn 1 and turn the car down, lengthen the corner, and see if I can get the run after I pick up a little bit of draft to come through. And unfortunately, there's not going to be racetrack down there for him as the 36 is occupying the space.
Yeah, and as that 36 comes through, I mean, he's just got to sit there. He's got to keep the pressure going and really keep things going. And of course, behind them, as we've talked about, an absolute mess of cars coming around to join the company. Justin Fuller back there. You see Kevin DeBrown, Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman, and then a little bit further behind that is Wesley Donaldson in the next pack of cars with Mark Jorgensen, Stephen Miles, and Eric Arnold continues to battle it through as we have them in this front pack, keeping the battle very lively down the back stretch they go. And, well, this is going to be the case where what do you do? What do you stick with? And what's your thoughts? What's your plans? I don't have a good answer for any of them as they come around, though. Possibly trying to take it 3 wide, and they don't there as it looks like Woods and Glacier think better of it, and Schildhouse will lead another lap.
I look at that KG veteran sitting back there in the 8th position, riding right behind this lead pack there, slicing and dicing through that middle segment, and the 38 of Chad Coleman is just on cruise control, sitting back there in the 8th position. He looks like he's on a Sunday drive, just cruising through, not hammering the car up off the corner. He stays with just enough to stay with the draft out of that front group and stay in contact, and I bet as this run goes on, you're going to see that number 38 inserted name into the conversation.
Definitely, I agree with that because, I mean, look at this. He sees this happening in front, and all he has to do right now is just cruise. We're lap 80 of 130 with 50 laps to go, if I can do math right. And with 50 laps to go, that's plenty of time to make things up for Chad Coleman. So he's just got to hold on and hold through as Schildhouse here has Doy Woods for company one more time. They come across, and P1, P2 respectively, with 3rd place being Bentley Glacier and Comstock in 4th, Fuller in 5th. They're just holding position pretty well where they're at. As I said before, and as we've discussed, the 60 and the 8, they're in the mix with the leaders, but they're not part of this lead pack as they are just really fighting to be the first car lap down.
Yeah, we focused a lot out front, but a couple respectable runs going on through the middle of the pack. Jason Pick currently running 14th, and Newegg Camaro having a great run here tonight at Kansas. Right behind him, the guy who needs a run, Bobby Wetzel, running 15th in the 9. He's just had the speed, but so much trouble this season. Patrick Colby in the 28 after fixing a lot of damage. He's running in the 16th spot, and he's being chased by Stoney Benfield. The faster passer currently running 17th right now. So good runs for Pick, Wetzel, Colby, and Benfield here as the laps wear down at Kansas.
And a couple more drivers definitely want to get some eyes on here. Drivers that maybe not having the best race here. Nelson Rivera started 2nd. Well, he's currently down in 26th position as it stands. Tyler Dalton was involved in early lap 1 incident. He started 3rd. He's currently running 32nd. And then, of course, on the other flip side of the coin with that is Jason Carlavage, started 4th, currently 23rd. So some drivers have had great days. Some drivers have had races that they will want to leave for a Monday here. Gonzalez keeping this battle going. We've gone 2x2x2 up front as Schildhouse is able to clear Woods. And now Woods has the pressure there of Comstock for company. And Justin Fuller, yet again, that 51, just finds himself in the right place at the right time every time as he's coming through and around and trying to push, trying to apply pressure, trying to just keep the battle moving. And he is going to move up into 3rd. He wants 2nd, though. He is not going to settle.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that 51 looks like the only car I've seen really make hay down there on the bottom. He's having great runs down where nobody else is Justin Fuller has brought himself to third. Out of turn 2 in the backstretch last time, you got a glimpse of the 8 of Sean Macklin. Slipped up off the corner, got into the outside wall. Karlovaj went around him. These two keep swapping positions for that lucky dog right there in the back of that pack. That's an interesting story, is they have been elbows up all the way through this stint as we approach lap number 85.
Well, and I think here's the thing that's interesting for me with the 60 and the 8 as they kind of stay in the mix of this battle is that, you know, they're not battling for position. They're just battling to be the first one on the first one a lap down for the lucky dog. But the thing is, they have to hope there's another caution somewhere and that they don't get caught up in it. Those are the two things to get the lucky dog. So they've got to hope there's another caution somewhere that they don't get caught up in. And, well, I'll tell you what, the way all these cars in front of them are driving, who knows what's going to happen. Of course, the battles behind we haven't really been looking at from Jorgensen back, but there's been some good battles going back there too. But, I mean, we've seen how feisty, how aggressive these front cars have been and this lead pack has been. So anything is possible here on the night. Lap 87 of 130 in the books.
I'll tell you what, it could have showed up for the 22 of Nelson Rivera. Currently 1 lap down, way behind the field, running in 26. This is a Nelson kind of racetrack. Did great in qualifying, ran up front. Unfortunately, that lap 1 incident where he got sideways spelled doom for him, and I think that car had some damage. If he could get himself to the lead lap and get the car fixed, I have to believe he would be in the mix, as this is his type of racetrack. But unfortunately for him, he's just mired back there waiting for the caution to come out.
Yeah, and it's always such a bad feeling as a driver when you're in that situation that you're just stuck back. There's literally nothing they can do about it, and you just sort of have to run and go through it. It's a horrible feeling, and it's one that I know all too well because, again, I always say this. I don't ever claim to be the fastest driver on track. However, I do always claim to be the lucky dog when it counts. So we'll leave that there, and I will just say that I know the feeling all too well of the position he finds himself in here. 51 trying to go high there on the 92 of Doy Woods, trying to get that pass done. Lap 90 on the books coming up here of 130. That'll put us down into 40 laps to go, and that's where I think we're going to start seeing some drivers, I think, get a little bit antsy, try to get a little bit of a run going while they can.
What a run for David Comstock. I mean, he is there. Not only is he to David Schildhouse's bumper, but I believe he's starting to show that he's got enough momentum to go by him. And Justin Fuller continues to be a pest sideways, as did Karlovaj out of the corner. So the longer we go into this run, Brad, the more I think we're going to see that cars just yawed sideways up out of turn 2.
Yeah, drivers are absolutely pushing off of that exit of 2, but exit of 4 is apparently where everyone thought the problem would be, but I think the exit to 2 is really where we're seeing it here. Kevin DeBrown trying to get a run on Doy Woods. Doy Woods, I think, is driven the best out of those Havoline tires. Well, they're not Havoline tires, but out of that Havoline scheme. I think at this point, there's a good view of the wiggles.
I'll tell you, good hands for Kevin DeBrown as he just barely got through. The 92 is yawed out about 30 degrees, and he missed that quarter panel by inches. That opens the door for Jose Gonzalez, the long run car coming through. Jose is 5th now and closing down on this top 4 as he's going to enter his name in the mix here in just a moment.
Yeah, and as that 92 comes through, I mean, just right on the rear bumper, do what you need to do at the moment and just follow through. Remember, this is a long race with plenty of time left to go, so no need to do anything to tear up a perfectly good race car yet. Just keep that battle going, keep it moving and grooving here. Jose Gonzalez right on the back of Kevin DeBrown. We'll see what sort of a battle he can find here as we go through lap 92, now 93 of 130. We'll keep the battles going and moving and grooving here. And I'll tell you what, we're going to take this moment, step away. We're going to put you into some temporarily loud engines here briefly. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here, lap 102 of 130 on the board, and at this point, it's just all of these drivers trying to survive the war of attrition to the end. Justin Fuller up into second, Jose Gonzalez in third, Kevin DeBrown in fourth, Doy Woods and Mark Jorgensen battling it out for fifth.
Yeah, during that little change, we saw Chad Coleman went to pit road, put himself one lap down. He is now chasing the 60 car, Carlavage. Decided to change it up, do a different strategy, and he is underneath Carlavage. If he can get by him here as the track is blocked, he will come to that lucky dog position. In fact, he's going to go 3 wide. I believe he's going to drive back to the lead lap as Doy Woods carves off and goes to pit road.
Seems like some drivers possibly gambling of just not having enough in the tank to get to the end here. So they have decided that pitting now and taking tires and fuel is the better option than waiting to a little bit later in the race. But here's the thing. You start having these drivers try to peel off and get this tricky pit entry in. If they mess it up in any way, it can produce problems for them. And, green flag pit stops can produce cautions. We'll just have to see how things play out here as the battles continue on and continue through. One other battle I'm watching right here is with Bentley Glacier. The 13, the 60, the 8, and the 24 are all in the mix. Of course, Comstock and Miles are for position, but that 60 and that 8 are a lap down battling as they go and continuing to try to find some time for them as they are working to just keep things moving and grooving and wiggles all the way around. That number 8 back there in the background, Sean Macklin wiggling off of 2 yet again.
I could tell you a car that's not wiggling, and that's the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. We talked about him playing possum for a little while. Now he's in 4th, and I'll tell you what, these top 4 are running nose to tail. Chilled House to the high side. They've got cars with fresh tires driving by as they work around the lap car of Brian Workman. But the 88 has made his way to the back bumper of the 26, who's been hounding all through the speed shot. Space and the speed to come off and clear the 51 for a second. But I think it's the 88 that's holding the coins right now. He's to the high side of the 26 and coming for 3rd.
Yeah, keeping that run going for 3rd here as they move through and around. Chad Coleman was able to clear past and get through, and you can see just how quickly that gap opens up as we watch in the background. The 88 tap the wall, and this is just how quickly these fresh tires are different in pace. I mean, it's several seconds a lap difference in pace, but is it enough that with under 30 to go, it gets you to the end? I don't know.
I think he can get around a couple cars that he was behind at this point, but I don't believe he's going to drive all the way around the racetrack.
Not at all. I don't think so either. As more cars are thinking about decisions and different things they can do as we continue through here with lap 108 of 130 on the board as they keep this thing fighting as hard as they can.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of the 88. He not pushing the issue. I think he's got more speed in the car. We're looking at 22 to go, and with 22 laps, I think there's enough time for him to selectively not destroy what's left of his tires, but yet pick off the top 2 and go for the victory.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to kind of see where the decisions come in for them as they run through. Anything is really possible, and I think it is all, in the end, it's all doable. It's just the matter of what can you do, and where can you find your car going to the end. And as of right now, I mean, this top 4 are absolutely glued nose to tail. So I think if you were to bet on any of them, the top 4 would probably be your best option.
33.513 for your leader last time by, a 32.742 for Chad Coleman, who has now 19 laps on his tires. With less than 20 to go, I think we've answered the question. He'd have to be a second lap faster in order to drive around and take the win. So the best that Coleman could look for is maybe he can net himself a top 10 if he can maintain the pace he had. So the focus here is going to remain on these top 4 up front. Schildhouse, Fuller, Jorgensen Jr., and Jose Gonzalez. And yeah, look back there in the 5th position. He's a little bit back, but how about Eric Arnold has come to the top 5?
Eric Arnold slowly catching up here as the battle for the lead has now started. Fuller around the high line, Schildhouse to the low line. Where's the pass going to be? Is it going to be cleared down the backstretch? Well, it certainly looks like it. Looks like Schildhouse will have to settle into second there with Fuller now into the lead. Jorgensen now holding on to third, and we'll see how Schildhouse does in traffic because it's been a long time since he's found himself in this position. We'll see how that car handles if he's able to get his way back forward and get that pass done very quickly. Another driver I want to point out here, Mike Montesi and Cody Harris battling it out. This is for P13 on track, but they're racing like it's the final lap for the win because they are absolutely pushing hard, and behind them there are battles still going through and around. That STP car in the background still keeping a good fight through. I mean, still plenty of good battles all the way up and down the track, but that top 4, of course, putting on an absolute show. Comstock has dropped back into P9 and is battling the number 8 for P8 when it's all said. Battling the 91 for P8. The 8 is actually down a lap there, just in the mix, trying to hold on for the lucky dog.
Tell you, if I go back and look at that pass for the 51 of Justin Fuller, he got to the right side of the 20. He may not have been able to draw alongside, but it sure seems like the Schildhouse car could not come up to the outside lane where he'd been running lap after lap after lap, and he was able to execute the pass. And the way these two are on top of each other right now, they brought the 88 into the mix, and the 88 is to the right rear of the 20 car. So I have to wonder how that's going to play out, as this top 3 is not settled just yet. This is still a dog-eat-dog battle right here for your top position.
That it is, and that is Doy Woods driving across the low line there to put himself back on the lead lap as he comes through, so that will get him in a good position. But again, he's got to gain a lot of time here with just 16 laps to go. We'll see how beneficial those fresh tires are. Last lap, 33.3 for the race leader, 33.4 for David Schildhouse, and for those on fresh tires, your last laps were looking at 32 flat. So that kind of gives you an idea of the time difference to be found as they go through. Jorgensen trying to fight Schildhouse here. Schildhouse will hold it high. Jorgensen will drop down low, and can Jorgensen get the 2-for-1 special? He's certainly going to try here as he goes through, and they have to hold on, and leave just enough space. Doesn't get the pass done yet, but will hold on there for P number 3 on the night.
Yeah, he got to the right rear quarter, or the left rear quarter panel, dumped the air onto the spoiler, but not able to drag Schildhouse back at the end of the straightaway. Now Schildhouse does the same move to Fuller. He's going to dive down low, break away from the draft, see if he can slide up. He's not going to be able to do it. Fuller is going to get the exchange. This is going to open the door for Jorgensen Jr. They're going to go 3 wide as the top 2 slip, and Jorgensen's going to lead at the line. And he gets turned by Schildhouse into the wall. And the 26 snuck in. Oh my gosh, I think that was a side draft gone wrong. And fortunately for Jorgensen Jr., he was able to gather it up, but the damage is done. He's dropped back from leading that lap to 4th. And they're 3 wide for the lead coming off turn 4 here.
And that 36 is not a lead lap car. That is Bentley Glacier, who is a lap down, trying to just get the lead lap back. Schildhouse will take advantage, say thank you very much, get back in the run, and I'll tell you what, if Jorgensen gets up to Schildhouse, it's going to be interesting to see how he passes him with 12 to go here. Let's go back and see if we can get an idea of what happened there, because that was a little bit crazy. We saw it there live, though, so that was a wild run for them, getting that pass done and just keeping things going, because it was, I mean, just wow as they came through.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little steam between the ears for Mark Jorgensen Jr. He just needs to collect his thoughts, get himself sorted out. I know Schildhouse is not going to be happy with himself, but in the end, that did pay dividends as he finally got a little respite, and we are getting down here. We're going to come back to 10 to go this time by, and unfortunately for Mark Jorgensen Jr., that's almost a full second lead. I'm not sure if he's got a little damage to that car, but he was out front and going when that incident occurred over in turn number 1.
Oh, he's got a lot more than a little damage to that car. Take a look at that right front as he goes past the TV camera there. That's a little more than a little damage. That is what I'd call a lot of damage, but he's going to have to run it. That's the thing. No spare car sitting in pit lane waiting for him. Nothing he can really do about it. He's got to run what he brung. We're too close to the end of this race for him to really be able to do anything. Right now, Justin Fuller really wants to get a run on Schildhouse if he can, but that gap opening up ever so quickly as we see Jorgensen, even with that right front damage, is going to bring the pressure to Jose Gonzalez for a podium there, and we'll run the high line there, and the 26 of Gonzalez will run the low line, and they'll swap positions there. Jorgensen up to P3. 88 is on a charge here, Kevin. This is going to be spicy to the end. 9 laps to go.
Yeah, if I'm Justin Fuller, I now need to get in the no, just you have to have perfect laps to close that gap down. He's got to run Schildhouse down. Will we see somebody use a bumper here tonight? That's the question. Let's look at the rundown. Schildhouse first, Fuller, Jorgensen Jr., Gonzalez, Eric Arnold still back there. Stephen Miles is in 6th. 7th is Kevin DeBrown. 8th is Wesley Donaldson. 9th, David Comstock. And Jason Pick is in the 10th position with Calantoni, Montesi, Wetzel, Cody Harris, and Stoney Benfield rounding out your top 15 with 8 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, one driver we haven't said a lot about is Cody Harris, but he's up, down, all the way around this field here, and he's in a pretty good position here, battling it out with the 9 of Bobby Wetzel. And, of course, Stoney Benefield, another driver, the 75 we haven't said too much about, running the Cook's Landscape car, and is in a great position, currently up 22 places on the day as it stands. But with 7 laps to go, all eyes turn up front right now to this number 20, who is just trying to run the league of his own, with Justin Fuller in 2nd, Jorgensen in 3rd, and Jose Gonzalez in 4th place, trying to catch up here 6 laps as they cross the line. Who can take on the leaders? That is, well, the billion-dollar question, more than the million-dollar question, because, again, I asked the question that I've been asking: who can take on Schildhouse? Who can bring it to Schildhouse this week?
Yeah, I think for sure the 88 was going for his 2 in a row there, and unfortunately that little tap might have ended his night, and I think he's just going to try and hang on right now and salvage a podium. We'll see how this plays out, but looks like the gap is kind of positive one and negative the next lap. Right now, Schildhouse with a commanding lead, one of the biggest one we've seen in the last 40 laps, and it seems like the top 4 all spaced out about 20 car lengths apart.
That they are looking through. I was looking because Jose Gonzalez has that 31 of Eric Arnold for company right there, the number 31 in 5th place, not too far back, so we might see a battle for 4th come through on the night as they run. There's your top 5 all spread out. Again, just a large gap between them as they come through. So really things all the way through the track have spread out at this point. Honestly, the closest battle on track was the 9 and the 95 here, but even now with the 44 kind of coming through the lap traffic, they have spread out quite a bit as well. So everybody, I think at this point, just trying to conserve it to the end. 3 laps to go, and it looks like at this point the gap 0.9 of a second, and really who is going to bring it along to close this gap up more between Schildhouse, Fuller, Jorgensen, Gonzalez, and Arnold. Do any of them have enough tires left to bring this thing to the end and try to put some pressure going?
Yeah, I have to wonder if Schildhouse was maybe saving a little something, but he has put the afterburners on as he's out by a full second right now over Justin Fuller. And the 88, even with the damage, seems to be closing ever so slightly. He might get there for second, but I don't think he has enough speed in the car anymore to contest for the win, although anything can happen and often does. We have 2 laps to go, but a caution would bring everybody to pit road, so you have no idea where this is going to go. Schildhouse had the 22 of Nelson Rivera out in front of him. Rivera gently pulled down, allowed the 20 to go by, not going to interfere with this race as he holds it low. And it is David Schildhouse out of turn 4 coming back to the white flag.
1 lap to go, 1 chance to lose it. White flag is out. Next flag will end it for Schildhouse. It's been a drive of the ages, up 32 places on the day. I can already hear the children screaming in his Twitch chat as he goes through. He's got just about 2/3, a little over 2/3 of a mile now to go, half a mile now, and all he's got to do is bring it through. Justin Fuller, you got to say, for a guy who admittedly this might be his least favorite car to run, he's a doggone fast driver and he does a great job with it, but just not enough in the tank there. David Schildhouse brings it across the line to win Sim 500 here in round number 12 at Kansas Speedway.
Fuller, hang on for a second. Mark Jorgensen Jr. is going to come home third, and that should be an interesting conversation. I'm wondering if he's going to consider that an oops, or he'll be rather upset about that. We're going to find out as, you look at Fuller's season here, Brad, and it's been one of second place finishes here and there. Not able to pull down the win, but yet has a second at Bristol, has a second at Las Vegas, has a second at Circuit of the Americas, and a second here tonight. So sooner or later, that 51 is going to pull down the win.
Oh, give it a second here. Oh, I was wondering what Jorgensen was going to do. I guess I got my answer. I was wondering what that was going to be, so I'm sure some sort of a conversation to be had there when it's all said and done. But your race winner on the night, again, I ask the question week after week, who can take on Schildhouse? Who can bring it through? And, well, this week, even with a 32-place deficit on the race start, nobody was able to bring it along. So we'll go through these race results and start our post-show as it goes. And it was, as we said, another second for Justin Fuller here, Kevin. Not sure what he needs to do at this point to get the win. He's always right place, and just he tries. You have to give him credit. He's a doggone fast driver. Just not there in the end. Jorgensen, well, we saw how he felt about that P3, and maybe that was a love tap, a congratulations tap. I don't want to put words into the actions of Jorgensen, but I think we all can read the room on that one. 4th place, Jose Gonzalez. 5th place, Eric Arnold with Comstock in 6 miles in 7th. Stephen Miles with a mega drive there to get up into P7, up 24 places on the day. Kevin DeBrown up into 8th. Wesley Donaldson in a 9th, and Jason Pick rounds out our top 10, up 22 places on the day.
Yeah, what a great finish for Jason Pick. Calantoni, Montesi, and Harris, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Bobby Wetzel comes home 14th. Doy Woods, after that pit stop, ends up 15th. Bentley Glazer, Stoney Banfield, Chad Coleman. The tire change strategy didn't work for him tonight, 18th. Joe Hudson, 19th, and top 20 for Patrick Colby in the number 28.
Moving on from that, 21st place was Nelson Rivera. Again, just some of these guys that started up front not having the best drive. And then in 22nd was Charles Woods. Jason Karlavage in 23rd, DeAndre Kane 24th, EJ O'Rourke in 25th, Sean Macklin, Glenn Campbell, Brian Wortman in 28th, Alan Wild and Doug Sigmund rounding out your 30th place. And then from there, it was Hollifield. It was Tyler Dalton with early lap 1 incident taking him down. Doug Roth, Lane Phillips, Josh Parker, Thomas George, Kevin Stone, Brian Macklin, Robert Friery III, and Joey Jatina, the boss man, the 40 cars on the night. What do you say we go find the Speed Factory driver with the Splash and Go graphics car and see how Schildhouse feels here about another win? See how him and the children are feeling here. David Schildhouse, sir, welcome back to Victory Lane.
Yeah, listen, man, I got to start this interview before I say anything else with an apology to the 88, Mark Jorgensen. I just went back and looked at it. It's pretty evident that I just went up there and hit him. I was trying to side suck him. He made a great move off 4 with me and Fuller were battling and threaded the needle really nicely, and I just tried to chase him up the track to side suck him and bring him back. I went too far. I just went too far with it and turned him around into the wall, and not representative of how I race, especially with him. He and I are developed a really good friendship and rivalry here at Sim500, and so I want to start by apologizing to him and his run. Probably had a good chance at winning this race if not for that. So just want to acknowledge that before anything else. But what a race. Absolutely blew it in qualifying and had to pass them all. And then it came down to fuel saving. That was a lot of fun. I oversaved, which allowed them to even get to me. But what a battle, man. That was a lot of fun here at Kansas. I didn't really know what to expect. I thought that it was going to be pretty single file up against the wall, and it basically was. The car was just too tight, man. It wasn't on the right rear. It was on the right front. And I don't know. It was weird, but we got through it, and we've won again.
I have a question for you, David. What happened in qualifying that really sort of set things off like that? What was it that sort of caused it to be so, I guess, such an off-kilter qualifying for you to have to drive it through the field?
I've messed up in 3 and 4 on the first lap. Carried too much speed, scrubbed up against the fence, and it took all my speed away. And so I had a really poor run to the white flag for the second lap. So that killed the lap. I just had no speed taking the white. So it was just a mistake trying to get too much up top and misjudging the amount of grip. The practice session, it was tight, it was cloudy, it was overcast, there wasn't a lot of grip, or there was a lot of grip, it was just really tight. And then we got to qualifying, sun comes out, track temp jumped up like 6 degrees, and for the first time in an hour, we were loose, especially up there. So just tried to compensate for that, didn't do a very good job, put myself in a bad hole. But it was fun to drive up through the field and pass a lot of people cleanly. But yeah, I mean, really all I'm going to think about, probably most people here are going to think about, is the one that wasn't so clean there for the win at the end. And that's unfortunate, but that's hard racing. And if I was Jorg, I'd be pissed at me. And he has every right to be. So it's a win, but not how you want to do it. It was a great battle with Justin and Mark. Doy Woods had a great race. David Comstock had a great race. Like, there was some guys who really had this thing figured out and brought it. Fuel saving while leading and ripping the fence was a interesting dance. I didn't know how well anyone else was doing it, but I just tried to do it enough to feel good about the amount of fuel we had if it did go green to the end, which it did. So shout out to everybody for keeping it green.
That was awesome to see through, man. And I got to ask your thoughts on so many drivers being so competitive all the way through this race, just kind of what it says about the league and, well, the competition that you're going to have through the remaining 24 races.
Yeah, I mean, we've reached the 1/3 point of the season, which is really cool. It's been flying by, and I was really happy to see so many fresh names up at the front. I mean, Anthony Calatoni with the pole, Nelson Rivera outside the front row is awesome. Like, it was really cool to see a lot of new names up front, even though, you know, I think for Nelson it didn't go so good after the green flag. But, you know, like I said, those guys that ran up front, Comstock, Woods, you know, it was cool to see some new fresh names up front. And I hope that it continues, man. Like, I know there's a lot of really good drivers in this league, a lot of competitive guys who are going to step it up. They're going to figure it out. They're going to get more comfortable with the Cup car, and they're going to bring more speed as we get into the summer months. You know, Fuller's going to figure it out and get a win one of these days if he just stops hitting the wall. But, you know, and Jorgensen will win a race, probably many races. He's really good too. And so I'm excited for what tonight showed. It showed a lot of promise for just how deep the winning pedigree is here in Sim500 Cup Series presented by Cook's Landscape Group. It's deeper than I think a lot of people give it credit for. And tonight was, again, a really good example of that, and that makes me excited.
Absolutely, man. And, of course, before we let you go, because you'll have to go down. I'm sure you're going to want to have a word with Mark there. Before we let you go do that, anyone you want to thank or shout out? Yeah,
big thank you, of course, to Splash to Go Graphics for the beautiful paint scheme As always, big thanks to everyone at twitch.tv/Shieldhouse. The children were dialed in, man, loving it. Really intrigued by the fuel strategy, so they really had a good time tonight. We're cheering on a win. We're all sort of dissecting what happened between me and the 88, but a big shout out to Cook's Landscaping Group for sponsoring and supporting Sim500 and the Cup Series here. Without their support, it just wouldn't happen, so we really appreciate them a lot. And to you guys at PTR TV for calling the races, as always. Looking forward to going back and watching this one. It was probably a more exciting race than I will even give it credit for. So look forward to going that. And again, my apologies to Mark Jorgensen, the 88, for getting into him there at the end of the race, fighting hard for the win. He deserved better than that. And it's one of those things, when you do that and you're mad at yourself, you think about that the next time you're in that situation, and it helps you grow as a driver. I have plenty of growing still to do. I'm not perfect, and when I make mistakes, I'm hard on myself, so I got to clean that up. But yeah, we'll talk with Jorg and get things smoothed over sooner rather than later. He may not want to talk to me right now, and I completely understand that, but we'll get it smoothed out, get back to our good competitive hard racing like we always do, and y'all enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, take it easy, David. We'll catch up with you later, man.
Thanks, guys.
And Kevin, sir, I believe you caught up with second place, Justin Fuller. Another second place in the books, but still a good, hard-fought one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that looked like a hard night's work tonight, Justin. Is I'm sure you're running through what you could have done differently, but this track was a handful tonight. And take us through your race. Take us through what you struggled with, what went well, what you could have changed, and tell us a little bit about fuel mileage for that second half.
I don't really know. I still can't figure these cars out. I burned the right front off. Of me when I'm running there saving fuel, I'm burning the right front off 40% more than the right rear, and these guys are only burning 20% more off the right front. So I just can't figure it out. I don't know what it is. I hate this car. Same song and dance as last year and the year before that. So yeah, fuel mileage kind of sucks, but I feel like it kind of put me in play there, and then I kind of stepped on it off of turn 4 when I hit the wall and let Mark and David get back by me. So David didn't run out coming to the line. My fuel pressure started dropping coming to the white off turn 4, so I started spitting and sputtering in the middle of 3 and 4 off turn 4 coming to the checkered. So I probably wouldn't have won anyway, regardless, so I would have kept that position or not. So I don't know. It's frustrating. I mean, it's hard to be mad at a P2, but just a frustrating night overall from start to finish because of what happened before the race. So, but it is what it is. We kind of learn and live and learn and move on.
Yeah, I mean, we're 1/3 of the way through the season, and you got to have that feeling of like, when is this win going to happen? But I have a feeling, looking at the schedule, that there's a couple tracks that I would circle and put your name on the list. I think you're going to break out here in February. You're second in points, and you've got a stack of seconds. I know you want to win, but you can't be disappointed so far with the season in 25, can you?
No, I mean, it's just the same song and dance as last year, just running P2 with Kevin. So, it's just, I'm just not good. I mean, obviously I'm not terrible in this car, but by my standards, I'm terrible in it. So, and maybe I just need to change my outlook on the car. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe if I change my attitude about the car, maybe I'll, start coming around with it and being better with it. But I just don't really give it an honest chance. Yeah, you look at the schedule. There's definitely some good tracks. Charlotte's going to be a good one. For some reason, I always run good there. Other than that, nothing really stands out. I mean, Michigan's going to be a draft lock track, so maybe something there.
Nashville?
Nashville, I'm not good there.
No.
Pocono's a good track for me. Indy's a good track for me. Iowa's a good track for me. Richmond's a good track for me. Darlington. New Hampshire is the real track that I have scheduled or circled on the schedule. And that's about it. So maybe Phoenix. So,
I'm with you. New Hampshire all the way.
So New Hampshire is definitely a track I got circled. I don't know why. It's just love that place. I've always been good there. So it's a ways away though, but just gonna keep clicking them off. Then see what happens. I guess just gotta make the playoffs. All these wins don't really matter at this point.
Started 19th, finished second, and I know you worked for it all the way through. One last question. Top line, bottom line. We kept seeing you go to the bottom. Most people had nothing down there on the bottom, but you seem to be making it work. Did you feel like that was an advantage?
I felt like it was, but maybe that's where I was going wrong with the tires. I don't know. Nobody was down there, so there was cleaner air down there, so the car turned better. That was my main reason. Plus, the last run, you're kind of out of the throttle longer down there, so you can save a little more fuel. I qualified down there. I know I got qualified 19th. I would have been on the pole by a 10th, but I hit the wall off 4 coming to the checkered. And I went back and watched qualifying. Everybody ran the top, and I was the only one that ran the bottom, that I noticed anyway. So there's definitely speed down there. You just gotta kind of wait on the throttle a little bit, and I don't know. I'm kind of bummed. Not at the race, but just bummed overall on the night. So it's not really worth airing out here, but I just made a mistake tonight, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, sooner or later, clean up those mistakes and you'll go on a run. I know you had a view of the 88 and 20 incident, but we'll just leave that at that. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I wasn't involved in that, so I'll stay away from that. I mean, I'm not lying. It would have been nice to have the C's part and both of them be behind me after that. But anyway, yeah, thanks to Sim500, all the aimants, what they do. Thanks to Cooks Brothers for sponsoring the series. Thanks to WBD Diecast for sponsoring me. Cooks Brothers on the car as well. I know they weren't on it tonight, but thanks to you guys for on the broadcast. Thanks to all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports. Thanks to everybody that watched. That was a good race overall. I mean, I think we only had a few yellows, so one questionable yellow, but and then just send an apology to Joey. Unfortunate circumstance there prior to the race, and hate to see that happen. So we'll move on to next week at Charlotte and see if we can rebound and have another good night.
There you go. He drives the 51 units Toyota Camry, brings it home second tonight. And then win is going to be right around the corner. Thanks, Justin, for taking the time to talk to us. We'll turn it over to Brad, who's going to talk to our third place finisher here tonight, a disappointed Mark Jorgensen Jr.
Mark, it's Brad and Kevin up here in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, Brad, I tell you what, man, I'm glad that those two other guys, I tell you what, I'm glad that y'all interviewed first and second before third. If you would have interviewed me first, I wouldn't have had one single good thing to say about Shield House, but God dang, son, it was right there, Brad. It was right there, man. I could have been back to back first time, you know, in my career at Sim500 on a Monday night, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Here's the thing, man. Here's what I'll say is the pace is there. That's the thing that tonight told me is the pace is there. You can fight with the big ones up front. So what confidence can you take away from that, man? Even if the result's a third, I mean, you've got pace, you got the gumption to battle it up front, man.
Well, you know, the first long run that we had, right? You know, I knew I was hurting those tires, and I ran the bottom maybe 5 or so laps, you know, that first long run that we had. And then after that, I moved up top and got to the lead. And, you know, I tried to take it easy through the center of the corner, let the car rotate before I got back onto the gas. But, you know, them better guys at saving tires started mowing me down. You know, you had Doy Woods up there passing my ass, you know, easily on the bottom. And, you know, a few others as well. And, you know, so I learned something on, you know, that last long run that we had. Man, I stayed committed on the bottom. I'll tell you what, man, it's nice to have a guy like Stephen Miles in our Discord. And, you know, man, he kept on saying, man, I think just staying on the bottom, just sticking with it's going to be the way to go. So I did. I must have ran 20 some odd laps on the bottom before I had enough. And I had to let it eat up top. And, man, I started mowing those guys down and easily. I mean, my line through the corner, you know, entering up high against the wall, letting that thing rotate really good in the middle and driving it up off the bottom. I mean, I was just eating those guys up. And, you know, I got up to third, you know, in behind Fuller and Shieldhouse there. And I ain't going to lie, I really felt like I was probably going to be stuck. I just told myself, I was like, man, I'm going to need these guys to screw up bad for me to even have a chance. And, I felt like whoever was leading at that point, not making any mistakes, was probably going to be the winner. It was going to have to take somebody messing up. And when Fuller got tied off of 4 and let out the gas, the middle opened up, Brad, the seas parted, and there I was. And there I wasn't real quick, so shit's going to happen. Me and David, we talked a little bit right there. I ain't going to blow up on nobody, if I felt like I'm done wrong. I've matured so much over the years on sim racing, shit's going to happen. There ain't no sense in getting foul-mouthed with somebody, this, that, and the other. It's part of it, man. Just handle it like adults. We talked a little bit there before you pulled me up. I mean, he's sorry. It sucks, man, because he's won about 100 of these things so far this season. I've only got one. So, I felt like I did everything right. And I knew when I got to his outside, it was game over. I mean, I had saved my tires. I had enough fuel to the end. I mean, they was going to drop hard like a rock. And, hey, man, he did what he needed to do, kind of side drafting and bumped into me. And, shit happens. I just killed the right side. Like I told David, the initial touch, I'm cool with it, man. That's racing. But when the second or third touch happened, I mean, it turned my car so hard to the left, and I had to put a lot of wheel in it to the right. And like I said, I mean, at that point, the right rear hit the wall. I overcorrected. Right front got into the wall. I mean, it was killed after that. I mean, I went back and I saw the damage, and I cannot believe that I got a top 3 out of it. I mean, the thing was killed.
Yeah, it was, man. It was a hard hit through, but you were able to persevere and still find third. So definitely a good result.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a good result for you. Mark, before we let you go, enjoy your third place, man. Anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Oh, man. Cook's Landscape Group for coming on board this season, sponsoring us. Appreciate that. Man, Sim500, all the admins, Joey over the years keeping up with me, man. Just been it's been fun, man, to race with these guys. It's there, there's a lot of fast guys. It doesn't matter what night of the week we run. I mean, god dang, it's so hard. And it's like, somebody's got to mess up for you to be able to make a pass. I mean, it's that freaking difficult at times. But, just a round of applause for everybody tonight. Yeah, we had our few cautions, but I mean, we was able to have some long green flag runs. I was glad that we was able to finish it out with a 60-something lap green flag run to the end. But y'all, for the broadcast, Primetime Racing TV, like them, love them, share them, follow them, do what you do. Appreciate what you and Kevin do, Brad, as far as the broadcast, man. I can't wait to go back and watch it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be biting my lip and whatnot when I see the 20 get a little overzealous there, and we touched and I got into the wall. But like I said, shit's gonna happen. John Fowler, complete graphics for painting this paint scheme. I mean, it looks freaking amazing. Looks fast. It is fast. My smoking hot wife for letting me do this shit just about every night of the week. And man, just all the guys in Discord, man. I felt bad for Joey, the little situation that happened with him. He didn't even make the grid, basically, for a lack of better words. But Brian Wortman, Joe Hudson, Stephen Miles, Doug Sigmund, Doug Roth. I mean, Lane Phillips was in there. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody. I mean, we had a laundry list of guys in there, and I'll tell you what, man, it's quiet, great group of guys. We're able to focus, pay attention to what we got going on. Sometimes you need all the focus you can to be able to race with some of these guys because of how tough it is to get around these guys. They're so freaking good and whatnot, and the mistakes that are very minimal. But oh man, who else? Man, I know I'm forgetting somebody, but I don't want to get too long-winded. Like I said, I know David feels bad, and I hope that son of a bitch does feel bad. But like I said, we'll talk about it throughout the week, and we'll put it behind us. I mean, I know he felt bad. Like I said, we talked a little bit. We good heads prevailed, cooler heads prevailed. We didn't get sideways or anything like that. Like I said, there ain't no sense in all of that. Like I said, I know he feels bad. It's going to happen, when you're racing real close to guys and whatnot. Like I said, I know that's not the type of driver that he is by any means, but, good win to him. And, we'll try again. Where are we racing next week? I don't even know.
Charlotte.
Well, we'll go try again at Charlotte. It's another mile and a half. So, you just got to take it easy on them tires. And that's what it's all about, man. Let them other guys go up there and burn their stuff up, and you just catch them on the tail end. But hey, we need long green flag runs for that to play out. So we'll be fast there. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, man, this one just it stings a little bit, man. I felt so good with, you know, how my car was driving, and like I said, man, just mowing them down, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, man, it was a good run from it, Mark. So, I mean, congratulations on the P3, and we'll see you in Charlotte. I got a good feeling about it for Charlotte, so take it easy, man.
Well, I appreciate it, Brad. Thank you.
Tell you what, Kevin, the one thing I can always rely on Mark Jorgensen for is he always thanks, and I direct quote, my smoking hot wife.
Yeah.
Might be my favorite thing that he says.
That is a heart on the sleeve right there. And I think he'll look back at this and go, you know, it was an unintentional racing incident. Not the best execution, but I think he'll look back on it on time. And somewhere along the line, we talked about drivers have a memory like an elephant. They never forget. And this one will hang in there. I don't think we'll see retribution from it, but I think we'll see that 88 get up on the wheel a little bit harder next week and the following week and the week after that if he's got that 20 in the front windshield.
Oh, yeah, we will. It's going to be a good one to watch, though. I'm excited to see how that goes through. And, of course, if you want to join us next week, it is the Never Quit 240 here at Sim500 Charlotte. But, of course, to get to that, we've got lots more rounds to go through this week. Area tomorrow night, area Thursday night, elbows out on Wednesday night. And then, of course, the next round of triple bypass racing on Sunday before we get to that Never Quit 240, which should be a real good race. 160 laps around Charlotte. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be one to buckle in for because it's going to run a little bit long before we take the week off for Memorial Day. But I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be fun, Kevin. I can't wait for it.
Yes, sir. It's always a fun time to get behind the wheel, and I had a blast racing Kansas personally, and I'm looking forward to Charlotte next week.
Me too, but before we can get there, as I said, we got to get through other things, and that means this broadcast has to come to an end. So, on behalf of Kevin, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish. Be sure to join us for the next one, but we'll take you start to finish yet again. Good night.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, Transervice will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. Transervice gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on Transervice for complete turnkey leasing solutions.